It is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be ranking every championship home kit which has been released so far. This one's always going to be a matter of opinion, so I'm interested to get your guys' view on what you make of your home kit. Which kits do you think are the best and worst in the league this season? As of recording, the clubs yet to release their kits are Blackburn, Bristol City, Brentford, Cardiff and Coventry, their home kits at least. And so I'll be going over all of them in a future video. But we've got quite the mixed bag in here this year, I'd say. Before we do hop into anything though, a big shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. As always, you can find the new OneFootball app in the top line of the description down below. As we are heading into this new season, all these kits will be on display. If you want to keep up to date with all the latest action going on around the footballing world, then OneFootball is the place to do that. You can check out all the recent stats of your team's players, get live updates to your phone, check out the transfer gossip and news, and you'll never miss anything ever again. So OneFootball, really handy to have, link down below. But without any further ado, let's hop into this one. So we'll go through the league alphabetically, starting out with Barnsley. Made by Puma this year, they've kept it fairly simple with this strip, but I think it's a fairly solid looking one. As we all know, a sponsor can either make or break a football kit, and in this case I think it blends in quite well. I like the white trimmings they've got going on around the sides. Sometimes when it does come to a football kit, less is more, but in this case I don't think there's all too much wrong with this Barnsley kit. I think it's a fairly solid effort. It's probably not going to be winning any awards or anything like that, but overall I quite like the look of the kit. It's fresh and simple. 7 out of 10 for me. Next up we then get to the Birmingham kit. Now I've got a bit of a mixed feeling about this one. Now it's the same design template that the North End shirt's got this season, and I'm a massive fan of the North End one, but for Birmingham I'm not sure if it fits in as well. It's the white sleeves with the white collar, and then they've got that different shade of blue. It's slightly lighter than what they've had in previous years. Now for me actually the collar brings it up a little bit. I'm quite a fan of collars on football shirts. It's always something that splits people's opinions, that, isn't it? But I like the little detailings they've got on the kit as well. But compared to last season's kit for Birmingham, there's just something for me that seems a little bit off on this one. Perhaps it's one of those that I need to see in action like I have seen the Preston kit. For the time being though, 6 out of 10 for me, not totally feeling that one. Then we get to the Bournemouth kit, which is probably one of our favourite home kits we've got in the championship this season. It's our first entry in today's video from Umbro, and for me they've absolutely smashed this one. Sometimes there's a limited amount you can do with stripes, but they've been a bit creative with this one. How the black fades into red and the red fades into black. It's an effect on the football shirt which if it is not done right can come off as looking a little bit cheap, a little bit tacky and flimsy, but the way it blends in the middle of the shirt, I actually think that looks really nice, along with the Vitality sponsor as well, which doesn't look too out of place. The little grainy effects on the stripes there, I'm a massive fan of this one. The only problem is they got Nathan Ake to model it so much, and he's ended up going to Man City of course, but overall for Bournemouth that's one of my favourite home kits this year. That is getting a 9 out of 10 from me. Massive fan of that one. Coventry so far this season, we've seen a very limited amount of their shirt so far. They've only really released this picture of it, which I mean, it's blue. That's all I can say really. Coventry was still waiting on the full kit reveal, so I'll hold off my full judgments until then. Right about now, I mean, you can't really form much of an opinion on that, can you? Next up we then get to Derby County. Now Derby have had some fantastic home kits over the years. This one a couple of seasons ago, oh my god, I was absolutely all over that kit. This time round, I don't know if I'm feeling it as much. Derby have always kept their home kits very simple, and I've always very much liked that look about them. But you're always treading a bit of a fine line when you keep it very simple. You don't want to meander into boring, which I feel like this kit maybe starts to do a little bit more so at least than some of their other kits from previous years have, at least for my opinion. Umbro are normally backing all the way, you know, on the whole they are probably my favourite kit manufacturer, but this time around for Derby, something just doesn't quite hit me the same as their previous kits have. Listen, I don't hate it, but I don't think it quite grabs me as much as some of their previous ones have. I'm going to give that a 6.5 out of 10. It's not bad, it's not awful, but does start to meander into boring a little bit for me, that one. After that we then get another kit made by Umbro, Huddersfield, another kit which they've kept very simple, but this one just hits me so much more, and this one has got a bit of a split in the Huddersfield fan base I think for what they make of it, but for me personally, big fan of this kit. As of right now, no sponsor on it, it's a throwback to the old days. This time around Huddersfield have gone for those bold stripes as well, which I think look really well defined. Some people will probably find this kit a little bit boring, but for me personally, it's the simplicity of this kit which makes it look so good. You got the Umbro in one of the stripes, the badge in the other. I don't know about you guys, but I just think that looks like a really clean kit to me. I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. I feel like that's something you can just knock around in casually, but I'm a big fan of that one. Luton this time around, also made by Umbro. I think are coming in with a solid kit as well. Last season, really wasn't feeling the Luton kit. I thought the sleeves were really hideous on that one. This time around though, it's another sort of minimalist one from Umbro. I like the little white and blue trimmings on either sleeve, and the blue around the neck looks quite nice as well, blended in with the orange. The sponsor fits into the kit kit quite well. It's not my favourite of the Luton kits that's been released this year, but overall it's a pretty solid effort. I give that like a 6.9 out of 10. It's verging on a 7 for me. Next up we then get to Middlesbrough, our first entry coming in from Hull. Overall, big fan of this kit, I must say. I like what they've done with it. The only thing that takes away from it is that 32 red sponsor. Looks a little bit ugly, doesn't it? Any other sponsor in there and this kit could have been an absolute banger. But overall, the Borough kits I think are looking decent this year. I probably prefer their away one, which I'll get to in the future video, but I think this one's looking quite nice actually. I like the colour it's got going on around it. Hummel have done a decent effort with this one. It's just that 32 red set your limits whole sponsor, which looks a little bit meh for me. Compared to some of the others that I've seen though, I'd put it up there. 8 out of 10 for me, that one. After that we then get to the Millwall kits made by Macron. Now Millwall, I think I prefer these ones to last year's kits actually. They got a few nice details on this one. I like the detailing around the neck and around the sleeves as well. That little white pattern that they got with the 2 bars going on looks really nice for me. They've also got these thin little stripes going through it as well. They've kept the kit all the same colour this year as well. They've not got those white sleeves that they had on last time. The Husky chocolate logo looks really good as well. Oh, do you know what? That is a fresh looking kit. That's another 8 out of 10 for me. Big fan of that one for Millwall this year. Norwich City, by their standards, gone for a fairly simplistic kit. You know, they normally go for one which is quite out there, but this one really did catch my eye. For some shirts, when they go for simple, it gets into boring a little bit. We mentioned with Derby. I don't think this one suffers from that. I think this one's simplicity done well. Love what they've done around the neck with the white and then green bands going around it. The actual sponsor and the logo on this one fits in pretty well with the kit as well, with the green on it. But this one you can vibe with a little bit. I give that a 7 out of 10. Solid shirt. Next up we then get to the Nottingham Forest kit. They kept this one fairly simple, but I think it's looking alright. They got the football index sponsor there. They got the collar going on around it. I think that... Oh wait, what? That's the QPR kit. But it looks exactly the same. Well, it appears that someone's been copying someone's homework, because we got the QPR away kit and the Nottingham Forest home shirt looking exactly the same this season. But in terms of the Forest shirt, what do I actually think of it? To be honest, it's very similar to last season, isn't it? It's just this time around they don't have those thin stripes, which I thought looked quite nice last time. It's sort of like, for me at least, it's a bit of a watered down version of last season's shirt. Now, Forest away kit's a different story. We'll get onto that in the future video. But for this one, there's not all too much wrong with it. But I don't look at that one and get the same feeling that I have about some of the other Forest shirts over the last few years. For me, that gets like a 6.7 out of 10. It's like between a 6 and a 7, I'd say.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give them. Okay.
They're the same picture.
After that, we then get to the North End kit. Now, I'm probably going to sound like a bit of a hypocrite for this one, because I absolutely love the North End kit this year, and it's the same design pattern as the Birmingham one, which I wasn't really feeling. But with North End, I don't know if it is because it's the team I support or it's a different colour scheme. I just think that this one looks a lot better. I'm a fan of the collar around the football kit. I think it makes it look quite smart. The sleeves look nice as well. It's actually quite an interesting one to look at, whereas some of our other kits throughout the past few years, especially since they've been made by Nike, have been a little bit bland and boring. Yes, the 32 red sponsor does look a little bit silly with the never chase losses on it. Apart from that, I think it looks like quite a nice kit. 8 out of 10 from me. Next up we get to QPR's home kit, and QPR fans, I want to know your opinion on this one, because for me personally, probably my least favourite one that we've seen so far. I don't know why, but it just looks a little bit unfinished to me. I think it's the lack of anything going on around this area. Like, there's nothing at all on the sleeves. It's just white. There's nothing at all that they tried to like spice it up with a little bit. For me personally, that's I'm giving that a 5 out of 10. Least favourite so far, I'd say. After that, we then get to the Reading kit. Now, weirdly enough, I think the QPR kit would have looked much better if that one had blue sleeves in it. But this time around from Reading, this one's got much more going on. And I think it looks like quite a nice kit, actually. They got some nice detailings on the sleeves. I like the look of the collar as well. The red trimmings they've got on that. The sponsor fits in well to the shirt as well, blending into the white. Smart looking shirt, but I can't help it would look a little bit better if they had the blue going all the way around the kit, not just on the front. But apart from that, that would probably be my only criticism. Overall, I quite like that one, 7.5 out of 10. The Rotherham kits this year, which have been made by Puma, there's quite a lot to like about these ones. They've kept it fairly simple, but the design pattern on the actual shirt looks quite nice. They got these little like squares going through it. Out of each of the shirts that Rotherham released, the home one probably isn't my favourite, but still a solid effort nonetheless. The white and the red always looks good together. The sponsor fits in well. It's got some nice detailing. Solid kit, 7 out of 10. Next we get to the Sheffield Wednesday home kit. Now, I've seen quite a few Wednesday fans that have been quite keen on this one. Myself personally, I'm not really feeling it this time around. Last season's kit I did quite like, and it's very similar in many ways. Last time round they went for that sort of pixelated effect on the stripes. This time round they've gone for this sort of like camouflage look, but I can't help but feel like if you see that kit from a distance, it looks a bit as if it's gone in the wash one too many times and the stripes have started to fade fade a little bit, and it just gives it that look of being a little bit washed out, doesn't it? When you see it close up, it does look a little bit better, but I'm not sure that's always going to be the effect when you're watching, you know, your team play on the pitch. I might be being a bit too picky with that one, but for me, that's like a 6 out of 10 maybe. It's not for me, that one. Next up to Stoke City, and do you know what, for Stoke kits, they don't change all too much throughout the years, do they? You know what you're going to get from it. It's always going to be Bet 365, it's going to have the stripes. But for this year's effort, I'm actually quite a big fan of this one. I like the 2 thin red stripes that they got going down the white as well. The Bet 365 blends in well. Some nice detailings around the collar and on the sleeves as well. That's probably one of my favourite Stoke home kits I've seen for quite some time. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10, really good effort from them. Next up to the Swansea kit, and they've done very well with this one. Probably one of my favourite Swansea home shirts that they've had for the past few years, actually. I'm a big fan of this design pattern. It's a unique one. Loads of little detailings on this one which makes it stand out, but also the simplicity of just having the 2 colours on there makes it look like it's not too overwhelming. It does have that really fresh look to it. I mean, the sponsor they've got on there, you know, the Swansea University, fits in perfectly to the shirt, and then the little design pattern that they've got going on at the bottom of the shirt which fades into the top, I feel it was quite nice, with the black stripes which go up as well, the detailings on the sleeves around the collar. Overall, I think they've done very well with that one. 8.5 out of 10 from me. Then we get to a shirt which is definitely split opinion this year, the Watford home kit. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a bit like Marmite. What do I think of it? I absolutely love it. I think it looks really nice, I've got to be honest. It's a really unique look to it, especially for the championship. I mean, inspired by something like Kaiser Chiefs or something like that, but this one's got a lot to like about it, I think. I think the sleeves look absolutely excellent with the little detailings they've got on there. And as for the shirt itself, it's going to split opinion. It's a little bit like the Hull City kit from last season, which definitely split opinion. My only sort of gripe with this shirt is I wish the Watford badge was actually in the middle of all these lines that are coming into it. Had that been the case, then this one would have been wow. But even so, it's got a unique look to it. They've been bold with it, and I for one think it's paid off. Some people are going to absolutely hate this. For me, that's one of the best shirts in the league this season. 9 out of 10. And then finishing it off with the Wycombe shirt. Now, a lot going on in this one, especially in the middle where the sponsor is. They've got the Dreams, they've then got the pink line under that, which looks a little bit out of place on this one, and then the Bed Specialist. It's got all of the lines coming to meet each other in the middle as well. It just looks like there's a little bit too much going on in that section. Had it been maybe a different sponsor and the kit would have been laid out a little bit differently, I can see what they were going for. For me though, I'm not too sure about the thin lines. I'm not sure if this one's doing it for me. To be fair, Wycombe always have a kit which is a little bit out there. I quite like their one from last season, but this time round, not my favourite. 6 out of 10. But guys, there you have it. There was every championship home kit which has been released so far and all of my rankings. So probably my least favourite out of the ones that we've seen so far, I'd have to say QPR. Not really digging that one. And then my favourite, probably a toss-up between Bournemouth and Watford. I'll give it to Watford just to be controversial. So guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you make of your team's kit and what do you think has been the best and worst that we've seen released so far? If you did go to enjoy and like to see me do this for away kits as well, then make sure to leave a like. We've also had some pretty fruity goalkeeper kits being released as well, which I'd like to touch on. But apart from that guys, thanks very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for a bit of regular championship content. But apart from that, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.